Okay, welcome back to another episode of Third and 23. I'm your host, Alex, here to bring you another pick and prediction video. We're talking week 12 of the NFL football season. So, I've been moving along, going positive every single week. Every week in the NFL, I'm going positive, positive, positive. And then last week, the bottom fell out on me. Had 5 games for you, went 0-4 with a push. I don't track pushes here, so you don't see it. So, from 21-14 to 21-18, we were doing well. Let's see if we can go ahead and if we can go ahead and turn that around and get back to our winning ways. So we're going to go ahead and kick it off with the New England Patriots visiting the Cincinnati Bengals. The Patriots, 7-point favorites going into this game, leaders of the AFC East. You got Drake Maye in MVP form right now. He's top 5 in all passing metrics that matter. You got a running game that I believe is going to be a two-headed monster now because Trevion Henderson, the last 3 games, he's totaled 264 yards rushing. I believe he's a better running back. I believed it back in the summer. I believed it in the spring when they drafted him. But Mike Vrabel has said when Ramondre is healthy, which they believe he's going to play in this one, when he's healthy, Ramondre should come back. So that's going to give them a two-headed monster in the running game. And Ramondre has played well ever since the fumble issues got behind him. He's played well. So I think this backfield is going to look really good for New England going forward. And they're going against the worst rush defense in the NFL, the Cincinnati Bengals. In fact, you could argue this is the worst defense in the NFL because their pass defense is 32nd in expected points allowed, 30th in yards per attempt. So this Bengals defense is tissue soft right now. A lot is made about Joe Flacco with that midseason trade, and he's turned around this offense and they're moving the ball, and that is true. They have been moving the ball, but they're still 1-4, and the only win they had was that miraculous win they had against Pittsburgh. So it's not turning things around. That's how bad this Bengals defense is. So I think New England is going to pile up some points in this game. And then on the flip side of that, can Joe Flacco keep pace and keep them in this game? You've got Chase Brown, who's struggling this year running the football against the New England Patriots, who are the number 1 ranked run defense in the league. So I'm saying running game, there's going to be none. So now you got no balance with Cincinnati. So now you got Joe Flacco throwing out to a really good wide receiver tandem, except the fact there is no tandem this week because if you haven't heard, Jamar Chase is suspended. So now you're talking about Flacco to T. Higgins only, rolling coverage that way, and now how is Cincinnati really moving the ball down the field? How are they keeping pace with a Patriots offense that's probably going to be cooking for 60 minutes? So because of that, go ahead and give me the Patriots. I'm going to lay the 7. I think the Patriots are going to put up a lot of points on the board in this one. I think this could be a blowout. All right, moving on to the next game. We've got the Seattle Seahawks visiting the Tennessee Titans. Titans, a team you see on here all the time. I bet against the Titans all the time. Should be noted, the last two weeks that the Titans played, they did the Chargers beat the Titans, but they didn't cover. The Texans beat the Titans, but they didn't cover. So, Titans defense has been playing a little bit better. And, so just pointing that out for you. However, the Chargers, they only gave up 6 points to the Titans, and they still didn't cover. That's crazy. And then last week, backdoor cover. Houston had it. Final drive, Tennessee scores a touchdown, and is what it is. So now we got Seattle, 11.5-point favorite. Seattle's a little different than Houston, right? You got Sam Darnold having a pretty strong season. He's got a couple hiccups in there, but a pretty strong season. You got JSN at wide receiver, who is just burning, just crushing things right now at wide receiver. And you got a running back tandem in Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet that are pretty solid most of the time. Sometimes not so much. But they're going against the Tennessee Titans defense that's not very good. They're not very good defending the run. They're not very good defending the pass. So I think you're going to see the Seattle Seahawks offense move the ball, hit big plays to JSN, to Rashid Shaheed, maybe Cooper Kupp getting in the mix. I think you're going to see Walker and Charbonnet make some plays running the ball or catching passes out of the backfield. So you're going to see Seattle move the ball. So this isn't going to be a Houston situation where you got a lot of empty possessions. So now can Cam Ward and the Titans offense keep pace? I talk about it all the time. Cam Ward is having one of the worst rookie seasons for a starting quarter we've seen in a long time. 34th in EPA. That's out of 36 quarterbacks. 28th in yards per attempt. He's at the bottom of all the passing metrics that matter. And then just wanted to throw this out there. Their third down offense is dead last in the NFL. Seahawks are 7th. So now I'm seeing a lot of possessions where Tennessee's getting empty possessions. Tennessee's going 3 and out. More offensive possessions for Seattle. More opportunities to score, which I think they are going to score. So now, 11.5. I think Seattle go into Tennessee and blow these guys out. Could be the third week in a row. a team doesn't cover and they still win, but I'm going to go ahead and go with it. Go ahead and give me the Seahawks. I'm going to lay the 11.5. All right, moving on to the next game. We've got the Minnesota Vikings visiting the Green Bay Packers. Packers are a 6-point favorite in this game. So, look at this game. The NFC North rivals. Minnesota really needs this if they're going to get anywhere into the playoff chase. You got J.J. McCarthy at quarterback. He's been porous all season. Bottom of a lot of the passing metrics, 33rd in passing yards per attempt. He's dead last in completion percentage at 52.9%. Terrible completion percentage, despite the fact he's got Jettis out there. He's got uh, Hawkinson out there at tight end, Addison at wide receiver. So he's got wide receivers and still have a real porous completion percentage. That says a lot about him. But on the flip side of that, the defense has been pretty solid. They've been a top 10 defense all year long. They're third in pressure rate, so they get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. And that's something that really hurts the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love, a lot of people aren't paying attention to this. He has been absolutely awful under pressure this season. 27th in the league, expected points under pressure. He's 39% completion percentage under pressure, 4.7 yards per attempt under pressure. He's been terrible. And then if you watch the games, if you're looking at the box scores, if you remember some of these games, these guys lost to the Browns 13-10. These guys lost at home to Carolina 16-13. These guys played a 10-7 game the next week against Philly, had back-to-back weeks without touchdowns. And if you watch the game against the Giants last week, they were down in the fourth quarter to Jameis Winston, third-string quarterback, right? So with no receivers. So it's because if you watch these guys play, it's because the Packers offense cannot extend drives, can't keep drives going. They might get a first down or two, and then all of a sudden they get to midfield and they're punting the football. It's just something's not working, something's not right in Green Bay. Also want to note this, Josh Jacobs, he did get hurt last week in the first half. He did not come back in. They're ruling him a game time decision, essentially. They're going to report on that in the morning, so look out for that if you're thinking about doing this game. But for me, I look at this and I see Jordan Love always struggling under pressure. I see the Vikings defense can bring a lot of pressure. The Vikings got a lot of weapons on the outside. I know J.J. McCarthy's struggling, and I'm not saying Minnesota's going to go into Green Bay and win this game, but I think they're going to keep this tight because until Jordan Love shows me he can score consistently, I'm not buying. So go ahead and give me the Vikings with a +6. Moving on to the next game, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars visiting the Arizona Cardinals. Jags, 2.5-point favorite in this one. So, you talk about the Jaguars. This is the most volatile team in the NFL. They're an enigma, right? This team beat the Chiefs, played the Raiders to a 1-point game in overtime. This team destroyed the Chargers last week. They blow a 29-10 lead in the fourth quarter to Davis Mills and the Houston Texans. You don't know what you're getting with Jacksonville week in and week out. One of the problems is Trevor Lawrence. He's just a bottom tier quarterback this season. I'd argue he's been a bottom tier quarterback his whole career. They paid him the money. He in my opinion, he never really showed he deserved that money. Now he's got no Brian Thomas Jr., but Brian Thomas Jr. hasn't been doing anything this season anyway. So you got your backup wide receivers out there. Maybe Trevor Lawrence plays better. He played a little better last week against the Chargers, even though that was the Jags defense that did all that work. So now onto that defense. Jags are quietly a top 10 type defense this season. They're second in the NFL against the run. That matters in this game because Arizona is down to their fourth and fifth string quarterbacks. There's going to be no Demon Carter, so it's going to be Bam Knight and Michael Carter going against the second-ranked run defense. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball in this game. Jacoby Brissett, man, he's hit his ceiling, man. He's trying. He's doing what he can. He's got some okay passing metrics out there, but we saw it against San Francisco last week. They got blown out by 20, despite the fact he threw the ball, I think, over 50 times, and they still lost by 20 points. He's hit his ceiling. He can't keep drives going. He can do some work in garbage time, and that might be what you see in this game because I think the Jags defense is going to be all over the running game. I think they're going to be all over Jacoby Brissett for a good portion of this game. And I think the running game of Jacksonville, that's going to set the tone for the rest of the offense. 8th in the league running the football. Arizona's middle of the pack. Arizona's pass defense, kind of middle of the pack, hit or miss this season. Trevor Lawrence could hit a play or two in this one. I think this might be a fight for a half, but I think you're going to see Jacksonville pull away in the second half with a running game that should be able to set the tone throughout. So go ahead and give me the Jags. I mean, 2.5. They should be able to go in Arizona and cover that. All right, moving on to the fifth and final game. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers visiting the LA Rams on Sunday Night Football. Two division leaders going at it. The Buccaneers, the division leader of the NFC South, though that's the worst division of football, and the NFC West division leading LA Rams. Now the Buccaneers, they've lost 3 or 4 games. The Buccaneers, they're easy to tell. They've lost 4 total games this season. 3 or 4 they lost. They lost to the Lions, they lost to the Bills, and they lost to the Patriots. And 3 of these 4 losses, right? Their one win, the Saints. It's pretty easy to see what the Bucks are. They're a team that can beat bad football teams, but anybody who's going to the playoffs, man, Tampa Bay isn't it. LA Rams, they might get a 1 seed, so they're already behind the 8 ball. Then we look at one of the big things for me is going to be scoring in this one because I think Tampa is going to be able to move the ball through the air. LA has kind of a suspect secondary a little, and then Matthew Stafford definitely is going to be able to move the ball through the air against Tampa, and I think Kyron Williams will as well on the ground. So it's going to be scoring when you get to the red zone. The Buccaneers, 25th in the league in red zone offensive touchdown percentage. The Rams are second in preventing red zone touchdowns. That's not good for Baker Mayfield. The Rams, 7th in the league at scoring red zone touchdown percentage. Tampa Bay, 27th in the league at preventing. So I think the Rams, they get to the red zone, they're scoring. Tampa Bay gets to the red zone, might be kicking field goals. So that doesn't bode well for the Buccaneers in this one. So, and then you got to throw in the fact, Stafford's on an MVP arc, or at least in, competition for it. He's got the best wide receiver duo in the league with Devontae and Puka out there. And the team is rolling. They won 5 straight games. I think they're going to keep it going. It's one of the hottest teams in the NFL. So go ahead and give me the Rams. I'm going to lay the 7. I actually think they might smoke this team on Sunday Night Football. So anyways, that wraps it up. If you like the content, please like, comment, subscribe, all of that. I know I went winless last week, so, sorry for that. But hopefully we turn it around this week. But anyways, take care.